Market builds on morning gains, but off the day's high as stocks recover some ground after Thursday's brutal sell-off. Industrials, power and metals notch gains, while IT and realty are the drags. Signing of the executive order on reducing India tariffs to 18% includes a number of aspects and will happen soon, says U.S. Ambassador to India Sergio Gore. Adds President Trump wants countries to stop purchase of Russian oil. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio to visit India very soon. India can play a serious role in data centers and become a hub for hyperscalers, says former Bharti Airtel CEO Sanjay Kapoor. Fitch's Nitin Soni says it will help Jio diversify revenues and improve margins and cash flows. Novartis India leaps after its parent inks an agreement with Chris Capital to sell its 70.7% stake for 1,446 crore rupees. Chris Capital will also make an open offer to minority shareholders at 860 rupees a share for 26% equity. India joins US's flagship effort on AI and supply chain security, Pax Silica. Minister of IT Ashwini Vaishnav says the alliance will make India part of the semiconductor supply chain, harnessing its pool of 1 million engineers. Hello and welcome to Business Lunch, live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studio. I'm Arundhati Ramnan. Good afternoon, guys. Let's take a look at how the markets are doing. Everything's in the green, and it's a big relief from yesterday's brutal sell-off that we witnessed. The Nifty at around that 25,600 mark, about 0.5% in the green. We've got that mid-cap index also rising in line with those blue chips. But the Nifty Bank faring slightly better, and for the week as well, it's outperforming the Nifty. But the mid-cap's absolutely flat. Now, the sectors that are doing well in trade today is those PSU Bank stocks. That's the top gaining index, over 0.5% in the green. We've got PNB, Canara Bank, Union Bank, all of them over 2% higher in trade. We've got those metal stocks which are shining in trade as well. Hindalco, SAIL and Tata Steel notching gains of between 1.5% to 3%. But Nifty IT still feeling the pressure, right? That's the only index in the red, and it's falling about over 0.5% right now. We've got Persistent Systems, LTIMindtree and Infosys, all of them dragging the Nifty low, all of them about 1% to 3% in the red. So IT continuing to do badly and lagging all of the other sectors. But moving on, U.S. Ambassador to India Sergio Gore says that a trade deal between India and USA will be signed very soon. Take a look.
I think we have a great relationship. I think it comes down to multiple things. The first thing is the great friendship between our president and your prime minister. The signing will happen very soon. In fact, even this week, we have both teams are talking to each other and actively getting to a place where both will be able to sign. Look, the reality is there's tens of thousands of points. We're not dealing with a small country. This is one of the biggest economies. And so we're thrilled that the interim deal is done. You have the few tweaking points that are left to do, but it's done. So the signing will happen sooner than later.
Speaking to CNBC TV18, Sergio Gore also said that the signing of the executive order to reduce India tariffs to 18% is expected very soon. Take a look.
We have seen India diversify on their oil. There is a commitment. This is not about India. The United States doesn't want anyone buying Russian oil. The president has been very clear on this. He wants this war to end. And so anyone who is in a way still involved with that conflict is something that the president wants to see come to an end in hopes of peace coming with that. On the first part of your question, that is also, there's multiple mechanisms. It's not one executive order. So that is making its way through the pipeline. The executive order specifically on oil was already signed. So that's done. The second part of it on the tariffs being rebalanced, there's multiple things. It's not just one piece of paper. It's multiple things, multiple departments, multiple areas. And so that'll also happen very soon.
And speaking at the inaugural Board of Peace meeting in Washington, the United States president reiterated his argument that the joint Israeli-U.S. strikes against Iran last year paved the way to the ceasefire in Gaza. He suggested that Tehran has about 10 to 15 days to reach a deal with Washington or face further military strikes.
Good talks are being had. It's proven to be, over the years, not easy to make a meaningful deal with Iran. We have to make a meaningful deal. Otherwise, bad things happen. And we do have some work to do with Iran They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon. And they can't have a nuclear weapon. And they've been told that very strongly. And now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we're doing. And if they join us, that'll be great. If they don't join us, that'll be great too. But it'll be a very different path. They cannot continue to threaten the stability of the entire region, and they must make a deal. Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen.
And as we slip into a break, here's some good news for our viewers. India's business news leader is now just a click away, introducing CNBC TV18's all-new app. Get instant access to breaking news, in-depth articles, and financial world updates at your fingertips. Download the CNBC TV18 app now from the Apple Store or Google Play Store, or just scan the QR code on your screen.
स्पीड भी अभूतपूर्व है और स्केल भी अप्रत्याशित है.
Jio, together with Reliance, will invest 10 lakh crores over the next 7 years. This is patient, disciplined, nation-building capital.
It's amazing to see the energy here. Every time I come, it feels like it's gone up another level.
We won't realize AI's full benefits unless we work together.
Indian IT services companies have taken a large knock, really on account of what Anthropic is doing with Claude. Now, are you a bad dream or a nightmare for the IT services companies?
We certainly don't want to be.
Multi-decadal change. Every company has to figure out, has to ask fundamental questions. What is my moat?
India does it its own way. Because we are not announcing the trillions and the hundreds of billions of dollars announcement doesn't mean we are behind. We will find our own frugal but very high quality ways of getting to the same level.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with CEOs of leading AI and deep tech startups on the sidelines of the India AI Impact Summit. The discussions focused on advancements in healthcare, cybersecurity, space technology, and other emerging sectors where Indian startups are making a strong impact. He lauded their stellar contributions and emphasized the government's commitment to supporting innovation, research, and entrepreneurship. The interaction underscored the role of cutting-edge technology in strengthening national capabilities and driving economic growth. Leaders also explored collaboration opportunities to scale solutions globally, positioning India as a hub for transformative AI and deep tech innovation. India has formally joined the US-led coalition Pax Silica that aims to secure the global AI and semiconductor supply chain and reduce reliance on non-aligned nations. The pact was signed in the presence of IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav and US Ambassador to India Sergio Gore. Gore called India's entry into the Pax Silica alliance as historic and hailed India's efforts into the semiconductor and tech industry. Other countries that have joined this bloc are South Korea, Singapore, Japan, UK, UAE, Israel, Australia, Greece, and Qatar. My colleague Ashmit Kumar also spoke to Sanjay Mehrotra, the CEO of Micron Technology, on Pax Silica declaration, and here's what he had to say.
I think it's a great summit bringing together leaders from all around the world, business leaders, government leaders, and Pax Silica is a great example of US and India technology collaboration, particularly advancing semiconductors and building AI infrastructure.
What are the benefits, sir, that India can hope to realize from this association with Pax Silica?
And of course, focus on semiconductors, building advanced supply chains, partnering with US, and together building the infrastructure for AI and the future for a future for all good for humanity.
On to the mega CNBC TV18 exclusive straight from the all-important India AI Impact Summit. Shireen Bhan was in conversation with none other than Sam Altman, the top boss at OpenAI. Here are some excerpts from the chat where they spoke about India's AI push, the deal that they've had with various companies in India, and more. Take a look.
This is the fastest growing market for codecs. And it's amazing to see the energy here. Every time I come, it feels like it's gone up another level.
Sam, you've also shared the stage with Pratyush Kumar of Sarvam. The last time you were here, there were questions being asked on whether India can do an LLM. Have you had a look at what Sarvam has been able to put out?
India's, yes, but more generally, India is just building incredible AI, the entire AI stack, from like data centers to models to applications, and I think there's no country in the world quite matches India for total AI energy.
The latest as far as the deal with NVIDIA is concerned?
We are building compute as fast as we can. Yes, we'll have more compute over time, for sure.
OpenClaw and the pivot towards more agentic future for you specifically, are we likely to, A, how do you use that? B, are we likely to see more acqui-hires from you?
So the models are getting good enough. We still have a lot of issues around safety and sort of security to solve with an OpenClaw-like approach, but I think OpenClaw is the most exciting thing to happen in the AI space in quite some time. And this vision of the models getting good enough that you can have a local agent running for you on your computer or a different computer and do all of these amazing things is really quite remarkable.
IPO in 2026? The visibility for that?
Presumably, OpenAI will be a public company someday. In terms of timing, there's like a lot of factors at play, and obviously this is a super dynamic world.
GPT-6?
Presumably that will happen at some point too. I don't have a date to share with you yet.
But in the first half of the year?
I don't know when we're going to call something GPT-6, but the model improvement trajectory remains extremely steep. If you look at the progress from 5 to 5.1 to 5.2 to 5.3 in codecs, what I would say is, names aside, you can expect a trajectory like that to continue.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up next, but before we slip into a short break, here's a quick sneak peek into the stocks that we will address on Your Stocks today. Don't forget to catch fundamental and technical experts give their views on these at 2 p.m. today, only on CNBC TV18. We're back in a minute. Welcome back. You're still with us on Business Lunch. The spotlight today is on Novartis India. Swiss pharma company Novartis AG has entered into an agreement with Chris Capital to sell its 70.68% stake in Novartis India for 1,446 crore rupees. Chris Capital will also launch a mandatory open offer to acquire up to 26% at 860.64 rupees a share, aggregating to 552 crore rupees. Ekta Batra is here with all of those details. Ekta?
The big deal in the pharma MNC space has finally played out. 2 years after announcing a strategic review of its Indian business, Swiss pharma major Novartis AG has exited its listed Indian arm. The asset, earlier eyed by players like Dr. Reddy's and Alkem, has been acquired by Chris Capital, valuing the company at around 2,045 crores or roughly 14 to 15 times EBITDA. So what does this bring to Chris Capital? Analysts call it a ready-made platform with established brands across immunosuppressants, neurosciences, oncology and pain. Key products include transplant therapy Simulect, pain brand Wolverine and neurosciences drug Exelon. A key driver is expected to be the transplant market, with the organ transplants in India growing 20% in 2024 to around 15,000 procedures, and their key organ transplant drug Simulect growing around 14% in FY24. Separately, Novartis has a marketing tie-up with Dr. Reddy's since 2022, covering brands such as Wolverine, which grew around 6% in FY24, its calcium portfolio drug, and a pregnancy drug. Now, the street believes Chris Capital can bring sharper focus and scale to the Novartis portfolio. It also inherits strong margins and a healthy balance sheet. For the 9 months, revenue was down 3%, but margins were close to 28%. The company also has cash of roughly 600 crores on its books. We leave you with an interesting trend. Several listed pharma MNCs in India trade at a premium to their parent companies, driven primarily by the strong brands that they have in India, steady portfolios, and surplus cash on books.
All right, Ekta, many thanks for those details. Now, moving on, King Charles's younger brother, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, was released from police custody last evening after being arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office over allegations that he sent confidential government documents to Jeffrey Epstein, the late convicted sex offender. Now, the second son of the late Queen Elizabeth has always denied any wrongdoing in relation to Epstein and said he regrets their friendship. US President Donald Trump also commented on his arrest, calling it a shame. And before we close the show, let's take a look at where the markets are at now. When we started the show, it was about 0.5% higher, but markets coming off their highs. The Nifty below the 25,600 mark at 25,541 as we speak. The mid-cap index, moving in line with those blue chips. If you take a look at that Nifty Bank index, it's doing better than the blue chips. It's about 0.5% in the green. And that's been the case for the week as well. It's outperformed, the Nifty, but the mid-cap index absolutely flat versus the Nifty. If you take a look at that advanced decline ratio, we've got 382 stocks advancing for 1,542 stocks that are falling. So now clearly in favor of the declines. If you take a look at some of those sectors that are doing well, on top, we've got those PSU banks. That's the top gaining index today. We've got PNB, Canara Bank, Union Bank, all of them over 2% higher. We've got metal stocks gaining too. Hindalco is the top Nifty gainer. It's about 2% in the green. And we've got Sales, Tata Steel, all of them gaining over 2% in trade. When we started the show, it was only the IT index that was in the red. But now we've even got, the real estate stocks that are also in the red right now. IT extending its losses under pressure. And we've got Persistent Systems, LTI Mindtree, Infosys, all of them lower in trade today. So that's how the markets are stacked up. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Business Lunch. But Midcap Radar will take all the action forward.